I'll call the community involvement meeting to order, August 1st, 2019. Welcome our new committee members, Marissa and Janet. Thank you for coming tonight. It's a pleasure to have you. And I didn't know if you want to say anything for your first time being on the committee, Janet? Marissa?
Well, I'm so glad to be part of this committee and looking forward to getting involved and giving some input and hopefully, help the committee with activities and information to our members in the city. I guess now it's a city. And maybe just share some ideas.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, I'm really excited to be here. Since I moved here, Bella Vista's really been an important part of my life, and getting to know the community better and getting involved in a wider range of activities. And really, this city is going to be growing like crazy, and I think this committee can really help shepherd and be a good steward of that growth. So I'm just waiting for homework.
We appreciate it. Did anybody have any questions for them for their first time?
No, just a statement of excited you're here.
Yes, thank you. We've been needing it, and we appreciate the volunteerism out of you two. Exciting times to come. We did have member input on the agenda, but we don't have any guests tonight, so we'll skip over that and go into officer selections. This was tabled from last month's meeting because we only had two committee members at the time, me and John. My question is, should we elect a chairperson, vice chairperson, and secretary while we still have 4 members?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. So I think this is how it works, where I ask for nominations for chairperson for the next, it's a 1-year term for being chair of the committee. So I'll go ahead and do that now.
I nominate Dylan for chairperson.
Any other nominees? All right. So we'll go on to voting for the chairperson. And we've had one nominee, and that's myself. Can I get a motion to nominate Dylan Shaddix, me, for chair? And then, this is how it's going to work. Say John would make the motion, and then someone would second it, and then we vote.
I second the nomination.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. So I will be the chairperson until next and 3rd July. Is that how it'd work? Okay. So July 31st of 2020, I'll be chair. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate that. And then I'll go ahead and take nominees for vice chairperson of the committee. I'll nominate John.
I'll second that nomination.
Okay. So what we'll do, can I get a motion to nominate John to chairperson or vice chairperson of the committee?
I give a motion to nominate John as a vice chairperson.
Now I second.
Second it. All in favor? All right.
Aye.
John will be our vice chairperson through July 31st of 2020. So now we'll go into nominating a secretary for our committee. So that would be Marissa or Janet in this case. So any nominations for secretary of this committee? And I just do want to ask, would you, one of you two, be up to being the secretary of this committee? it would be basically taking the minutes of our committee each month.
Kind of like what you see in front of you.
Yeah.
I nominate Janet.
Oh, that was sneaky.
Because I believe Janet was looking the other way going,
So what do we want to do?
Oh, so I,
Okay, I didn't hear that.
Oh, yeah.
My apologies.
so I nominate Janet to be the secretary for the committee.
Okay. Can I get a motion for that?
I second.
Second it. All right, all in favor of Janet being the secretary?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
meeting.
Sorry, it has been a little confusing since we've been low on members, so I appreciate you doing that.
That's fine.
So Janet will be our secretary until July 31st of 2020. And then from then, we'll nominate people again, whoever's on this committee next year. Any questions about those? All right, we'll move on to any recommendations of capital projects and operational changes for the POA. We discussed this last month, and I don't believe we got too much in discussion about it. And it is due by August 16th, so this would be our last chance. Do you have any questions about that, John?
No, I don't.
Okay. Janet? All righty.
Sorry,
It's
would
okay.
it be wise to put in some kind of request for, sorry, would it be wise to put in some kind of request for the two programs, just in case we don't get the boxes donated to collect the coats, and we don't get the food
Yeah.
donated, just as a placeholder? I mean, just in case.
Oh, is it Plan B?
Yeah.
So while most of the time we ask for capital requests, it also says operational, so I agree. You know, the recommendation would be potentially just, we'd like to allocate $500
Right.
for the tailgating Fireflies, and we'd like to allocate $200 for bins, and so that's an absolutely perfect recommendation. And it allows us to make sure that we include those in the budget, or at least bring it to the attention of the board that we've included, you know, we've listened to the community involvement committee and we've included those. Yeah, I'm totally fine with
Okay.
that. I think it's a good idea.
I didn't know how that worked because I don't remember this on the agenda the past 2 years. So I'm not sure if this was something new or we just didn't do it in this committee.
And it's somewhat similar if you look at the Lakes Committee. So the Lakes Committee recommended that we increase the amount of lake rangers. And that was not a capital project, but it was an operational, and it ended up going up all the way to the board, and they approved it.
Okay.
So this is fairly similar to that.
Okay. Is that something that recommendation, is that something we have to vote for to send on?
Yeah, a recommendation, so what I would phrase it as is, Fireflies is in May or June?
June.
Jeez, June. I'd recommend, I can't make the motion for you,
Right.
but something in the nature of, I recommend $500, which is probably about the right amount
Well, I think
for
what
the
we
month
discussed.
of June, and $100, $200 for bins for the month of
September.
October.
We're going to be discussing that.
Want to get it ahead of time.
Yeah.
And we would
So
like
700 total?
700 total included in the 2020 budget.
Okay.
If you wanted to keep the amount of hot dogs the same as last year, I would recommend $750 for tailgating and
$750.
Fireplace, because that was a
750.
lot.
So $550 for tailgates?
I would say $750 just for tailgates and Fireflies, because
Okay.
that was almost 600 hot dogs, all the condiments, the napkins, the
Well,
preparation,
with that, and then we did have some extras that we provided.
activities, things like, just,
I mean, yeah, I guess,
Is there-
Tattoos for the kids and all the other
yeah,
stuff.
the coloring.
Dylan, when
Yeah,
you
I'd say
talked about,
750 and two. Because I think $200 in bins, especially if we're doing it internally, so to speak,
Okay.
would be
I'm fine with that.
sufficient.
Okay. Mary?
When you did the after event evaluation for Fireflies, did you make a list of, how many hot dogs were sold, given away? How much water and, so that there's something to back up the $750?
Tommy notated all that because
Did
we
he?
handed out 540 hot dogs. I don't know how many waters,
I think we went through 7 cases.
but yeah, we did track it all.
Yeah, we went through all the hot dogs. If we went through 7 cases, say 24 packs, so that was,
I think they're 36.
Yeah,
But I think we're going to do
36.
more next year because,
Yeah.
first of all, it was a great event, and second of all, because the previous year we had charged, this year we didn't. I think there was some confusion. I think some people were expecting to be charged and so forth. So I think that the $750 is probably a good idea, and it gives us a little wiggle room so we can get coloring books and tattoos for the kids and all that stuff.
okay. Does anybody else have any questions about that before we make a decision and a vote? Can I get a motion to allocate $750 for tailgates and fireflies and $200 for the coat drive
Coat drive
for the
for the
2020 budget?
Motion.
All right, I've got need a second for that? Second? And all in favor of allocating that money as a placeholder for the 2020 budget? All right, 4-0. So we'll forward that to the board of directors. Thank you, y'all. So we'll go into a discussion of Coat Drive 2019. And I do want to say that there has been previous conversation about putting the Coat Drive in the month of October instead of November. And I think it's a great idea because it does get pretty cold already, even early October. And then by that time, we have the coats ready for when it really gets cold. So thoughts on that?
I think it's a good idea to have them out there by the 1st, and then at that point, I think that we could look at maybe towards Halloween-ish or after, just right after Halloween or something, separate and then donate.
Okay.
We could add them to the Trail of Fears donation boxes.
Yeah.
Any house decorated for Halloween can be a donation spot.
Okay. Where was the Trail of Fears is mostly located on the street you live
Well,
on?
I think
We are
we're-
the Trail of Fears
I think
now.
we're
Okay.
gonna have 5 throughout
5.
Bella Vista.
Okay.
yeah.
In different neighborhoods.
So we try to do like the Christmas lights,
Mm-hmm.
and we've been trying to we did it in Centerton with a bunch of families and raised a lot of food for the food pantries. But here, instead of, like the Trail of Lights for Christmas, we're doing like the Trail of Fears. So
Okay.
anybody that's into Halloween, anybody that really wants to, they can get in on it, and then basically it pinpoints where they are on like a little map of sorts, so you can kind of drive around Bella Vista and see the neat Halloween stuff.
We'll have 5.
Okay. That'd be a very good idea. Any thoughts on that, Janet?
I think it's a super idea because I think it's, been noted that, things get cold starting in October. We need more
Right.
time. We can
Yeah.
collect more and, that benefits the community when we can
Okay.
do that. So, great idea.
Awesome.
I'm kind of new, so how are you advertising the donations?
What we normally have done in the past is we use our email database, because we have 30,000 email addresses in our database. And so we send out a weekly a newsletter, and we include information about the donations. And last year, we collected
A lot.
a lot, 700-800 coats. It was a lot.
Oh, it was quite a bit. it was fun watching the
And then
chaos.
once you get the donations, like, so you have a deadline, people
Mm-hmm.
know when's the last, day, and then do we go through the codes? And,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people think this is acceptable, but it's not really acceptable.
Yes, we'll go
So-
through each.
You must have been there.
Right, right. No, so we do. We do.
I used to
So
work
it's,
at
it's,
Walmart, so
it's,
I know.
it's very
Yeah.
tasking from when we start, because like we'll have one at Allen's or one at Arvest or one at Casey's or wherever they may be. And then we'll try to assign who lives near those points to go by and check on it, not necessarily a daily basis, but every other day, check, and then take the coats, put them in your vehicle, and then normally we'll have a spot over there. And we'll just drop them off like once a week or whenever you can, drop them off here. And then the deadline, after the deadline, we'll figure out when we meet again, then we'll come in and we'll separate all the coats. And yes, you're absolutely right. The gently used that's a wide range of gently used. So we'll go through each one and we'll separate them in sizes and in condition. If it needs to be part of it, we'll separate it in size, and then we'll actually bundle them up in a bag for this school or for this particular, women's shelter or whatever the case may be.
So do you start collecting in October or up to a certain period of time? And then when do you deliver the coats to?
That's
the-
what we'll try and figure out at this point, because we're trying to get it almost a month earlier
Yeah.
out there.
Like a timeline on as far as like, you start collecting here, you start distributing
Yeah.
here, so we kind of have an idea.
What was it last year?
So 2 years ago, in 2017, we did it for 2 weeks in November, and I think it was before Thanksgiving, and we met and sorted them all out. Went pretty well. Then last year we did it for more than 2 weeks. It was more like 3 weeks to a month, and we just got a lot of coats, and it was awesome. The community really showed out to donate those coats, and then and this year I already have 6 bags of coats at my house that one lady has donated. I haven't sorted through them, so I'm not sure what the condition of those, but we'll do that, and we'll just discuss if we still want to do it in November or change it to October. So the timeline, we'll figure that out here in a few minutes. And it's gone really well. And you had a question about the advertising of it. As Tom said, we do it through the email blasts and Facebook advertising also. And then I personally posted on my Facebook page last year to the main Bella Vista Facebook pages that are out there, because that's a good source. I was just doing it from my personal Facebook page, and people had questions, and I was happy to answer that.
And who are the recipients of these coats?
Yes.
And how do you figure out who's gonna get it?
Yeah, so that's a good question. It first goes to, we fill the closets of the schools that are zoned for Bella Vista, such as Cooper Elementary, Sugar Creek Elementary, TJ, Thomas, that stands for Thomas Jefferson Elementary. Those are in Bentonville, but Bella Vista kids go to those schools. And then also Gravett Elementary, and then the middle school and the high school, and Bentonville High School, and then it would be Lincoln Junior High also. And we just coordinate with whoever would be responsible for overseeing that at the schools. And then from there, once the closets are fulfilled there, we would find some type of place that takes coats, just like the Dev Project in Bentonville, DEB. They help out foster families, so I know we gave to them last year.
I was just thinking, so, we're targeting children, younger. How about the older people? I'm like, there's some older people also who would
Yes.
need these things, so, I mean, do you approach some of the, facilities or places where they have homeless people or that would need that?
I think that last year, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we did have it opened up to certain people that like had a list of, and it may have been just a family or somebody that knows about the coat drive, but they would fill out something and saying,
that's right.
Yeah.
Yes, we did do
and,
that.
and they
Thank you,
would
John.
say something,
Yeah.
like, I need this jacket,
Yeah.
extra
Because-
large, and,
Sometimes the older people they're on limited income or they don't have money to buy the coat, and they're also in need of those things, not only
Right.
the children. So I'm just saying, like, we can't just say the younger generation, there's also older
Right.
generation in
Yeah,
our
no.
city that need this kind of help.
to give you an idea, last year, we had a bunch of brand-new coats, and they ranged anywhere from toddler up to my
Adults.
size. So, I mean, they do get distributed out, and I think we did it first where it was the people on the list got theirs first,
Right.
and we did that, and then we went around, and then we looked at what school, what size would be appropriate, and then followed through with that.
Okay.
Just to follow up, I'm wondering if how we approach it in our communications with the email and so forth, whether we use language which expands the eligibility beyond just the children. It seems to me like that would make a difference in terms of what you're receiving. Now, I know if we ended up with 10,000 coats, it would probably be a little bit more than we can handle, but that's point one. Second point is just thinking about mechanisms that we can use to get the word out in terms of like the electric cooperative magazine that might have an opportunity. We might have an opportunity to put something in there. There are certainly other avenues or media options. Because some people aren't part of POA. Some people are, they don't read their email. It's just kind of buzz off. But I'm thinking out loud, so it
Yeah.
isn't necessarily, to the point.
Right.
But you get the drift.
What if we did something, I'm just throwing this as just an idea, I'm not a committee member, but what if we, after we sorted through them, had an open store for a week? And people could come in, no questions asked, and they could come in and select a jacket. They're limited to one or no questions asked, and because maybe because I remember in going through the sorting, I mean, we received so many jackets, and then you have this list, and it says, okay, I want this size for a female or for a male, but there's maybe the little kid likes blue and doesn't like red or whatever, but we're just putting jackets in that meet the size criteria. But if we could keep the store open for a week or a weekend or something like that, and people come in and then they can select for themselves. So I'm just throwing out the idea.
Right. I've never thought of that, but
Kinda like
that does sound
There's
good.
a church in Bentonville, I think, that does that during the winter time when they invite like families to go through, like they collect all these different kind of clothing, for men, women, children, and then they come. I remember, I don't know which church it is, but they have something similar to that.
Maybe it's a weekend and we staff it from like 10 until 3.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
we
like
just
that
open the
idea,
doors
actually.
and,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
just an idea.
Yeah. So are you talking about the the first, the first week we have the coats or toward the
No,
end?
okay, so let's say we collect the coats for 2 weeks.
Okay.
Or 3 weeks, whatever you want. Then we have 1 week to sort, and then we have the
Donate.
store for a weekend.
Mhm.
And so we allow people to come in and select their own jacket, so they can sort through, hey, here's all the men's larges, here's all the kids' larges, and here's the boys are on this side, the girls are on this side. And then everything else that's left over, then we fill up the closets of the school, and then the Deb project and so forth. Because, I mean, last year we had an abundance of jackets.
Right.
I mean, 2 years ago we had 200, last year we had 800.
Yes.
So,
Leftover?
huh?
Was that leftover after you donated it to the school?
No, we
No,
gave
that
out all
was-
200.
What you got?
We just had to find other places, like, instead of just giving it to the schools, we went to, like, Harbor, Souls Harbor, and then
Oh,
we went
yeah.
to Women's Shelter, and then we went to the kids, so I mean, just wherever it would size appropriate.
But giving them a choice, that way
Yeah.
they can go in.
I like that idea, actually,
I do
Tom.
too.
I really
bet
do.
we might know someone that can find us a location,
Okay.
few buildings.
We can do it at Reardon Hall.
No, I mean,
Center.
we did the sorting in the old pro shop, and we could probably
Oh,
just
yeah.
use the old pro shop.
Yeah, it's big
and
enough.
Probably set up racks, and if we have enough, if you guys like the idea, we could have enough lead time, we could set up some racks and get some inexpensive hangers and,
Oh, you can get hangers from some of those dry cleaning place.
Yeah.
Even
that's a
at,
really good, I got a
Helping
stack at
Hand,
home.
sometimes they have some
That's a really good
hangers.
idea.
You might want to consider for the sorting part of it, which got a little hairy last year.
Yeah.
That take the old pro shop and put up at the very beginning, as you're collecting, put up the signs on the wall that say, men's, children, whatever.
Right.
So that as people bring in a bag, it'll take them like 2 minutes
Right.
to sort that bag, so that when it comes to time to open the store or whatever, it's all done.
That's a perfect idea. It would save a lot of time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then we just have to
kind
go
of like
through and
when you
cull
go
out
to
the
the
nasty ones.
recycling place, you put the bottles, clear
Yeah.
plastic colored bottles,
Right.
newspaper, cardboard, then it'd be easier when you have to get it, you know where it's going,
And if we did do the shop, it'd be just another chance for people to volunteer or come to volunteer to help out with
Yeah.
that for 4 or 5 hours.
Uh-huh.
One of us would probably be there, but I'm talking about, the residents from the community coming out and volunteer. Wouldn't be too hard.
Yeah, we can approach some of the organizations. So I'm with
Yeah.
American Legion Auxiliary. I can ask some of my members there.
Yeah.
I'm not an officer, I'm just a new
Right.
member too, but
Hey.
I can ask them if you want to volunteer, We're always looking for volunteer opportunities, and then they can volunteer, help
Okay.
out. Even like with the sorting or with the store. And then we can get really the community involved. And
Right.
they know what we're doing. Maybe we can get more members to this committee.
Yes, I like that idea.
Because the more they know what we're doing, then people will kind of probably want to get involved, not just reading it on oh yeah, we need members, but what do you do?
Right.
But now,
Give the
that's
why
something
behind it.
I'd like to do.
Okay. And I do want to discuss also the dates of the coat drive. I like the idea of October, since it is before it gets too cold, so we'll have the coats ready.
What if we did something like between October 1st and October 31st? And then at that point, we could do the sorting the following week, so that would at least get that, and then that would at least get the kids or everybody their chance, like what Tom was saying, have a weekend for that once they're sorted, and we could get the coats distributed before Thanksgiving.
That's a very good idea, because 30 days for a coat drive, it's not too long, especially if we're gonna do the shop and make sure to get all the coats ready.
Well, everybody's gonna be hunting for costumes, so coats are right there.
That's right.
No.
Does everybody like the idea of that?
Yes.
So, is that something we need to vote on? Or-
I mean, we can pull up a calendar, we can actually set the dates right now if you want.
Yeah, yeah, we can definitely do that. Let's see.
Do you need a budget for the flyers
First,
for the coat drive?
No, we
That's so
take care of
small,
that.
right?
Yeah. So October 1st is a Tuesday, and then the 31st is a Thursday. So we can get with marketing and see what kind of advertising, or what the advertisement would look like through the emails and Facebook. Because I know they can get pretty creative. And I do like the idea of opening it up to not just kids, for everyone, because this community, the average age used to be above
40s.
60. Now it's about 48, 49. So that's right next to 50. So it is very diverse.
What if we, I'm just, only a suggestion, it's your committee. If we started, October 14 is when it's launched, and we end it, the last day of it is November 3rd. That puts it
That's
through the Trail of Fears. So November 3rd is the end. And then by the 10th, we have them sorted.
Yes. And we could meet as a committee on the
That's-
7th.
yeah.
Actually, we could have them sorted by the 15th. And then the shop is open the 16th, 17th. And then we're done. Oh,
Then it can be
then we'll have to distribute the remainder.
Distributes from
Right.
that week. Or,
Yeah.
And
So 18th through the 22nd is distribute whatever's left over.
Yeah, because then that'll give, till the 28th is Thanksgiving,
28th.
so.
Yeah,
So everything's
schools are
done by
closed.
Thanksgiving.
Schools are closed the week of Thanksgiving
Right.
normally.
Right.
And so.
And we
need to
would
be-
have them the week.
The week
or
before.
You'd be done
before.
beforehand.
Yeah.
I like that.
Because
That
last
works
year
out
we
good.
had them after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Oh, last year.
Last year, yeah. And it was like that the year before also, because I remember it was freezing the night when we sorted them out 2 years ago.
Yeah, Halloween is generally, to me, the breaking point of warm and cold.
Yeah.
Cold, yeah.
But
Warm and
that,
cold.
that gives us from the end of the drive, which is November 3rd, to the 15th, so gives us the opportunity to set everything up, get everything sorted, hung up, if they didn't do it in advance. Just a suggestion.
Yeah.
So, let's see. We'll just go to that shop right there and take theirs. And
Just throw all this stuff around.
They'll never
We'll
know.
We'll figure something out. I'm sure we can come up with
I could
something.
probably
Or-
set poles up or
And-
something
Yeah.
and just,
And we could also ask the community if they have any, and they could donate them for 2 days or 2 weeks. Or good, yeah, for next year
Yes.
and going forward.
so Tom, let me recap. You have October 14th through November 3rd for the drive.
So that's 3 weeks. So
Yes.
you guys said 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks, so I just went right down the
And then
middle.
we have till the 10th to sort.
Or the 15th, because the shop would be on the Saturday, Sunday.
Okay, so the 15th.
Everything will be sorted by the 15th.
And we do the shop, and we do like 10 to 3. So
Shop.
it's not a huge amount of time, and it's on a Saturday and a Sunday.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, okay, I like that.
16
And we
17.
include all this information in the flyers, so people know, okay, so if I need a jacket, I'm gonna go on the 16th or the 17th.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
So the flyer is not only collecting, but also telling them.
Distribution.
Right.
To collecting and distributing the same flyer.
Yeah.
Everybody on board with that?
Yes.
Okay. That's what we'll do then. Any,
And the places where you collect, you said, like banks and stuff?
yes, so we'll move into discussing that. In the past, we've done Allen's, Arvest Banks. We did Harps in 2017.
We have Bank of the Ozark too. I'm like, we have several banks in the area. And,
Yeah.
Well,
all
in
the
the
outlets.
buildings, like, do you put it at the Metfield, Reardon Hall and the one
Yep.
in Metfield, or people come and?
Yep,
go?
we've done one at Reardon Hall and the Country Club.
We did every outlet.
Oh, yes,
We did every golf course
Every-
and
yep.
every fitness facility. We did every one.
everywhere the POA building is, it was there.
Okay, yeah.
And then there would be a poster on the front of the box so people knew what it was. And that's also advertised through the email where the locations are. And then we would decide who would pick those up and take them to the drop-off location.
Oh.
So I mostly did Allen's last year because I live close by there. And then, say, John and Tia, they did Java Dudes.
By
And
then, Harps will be open, so.
yes,
Harps-
Harps opened September 25th,
Yeah.
the last time I saw.
Someplace in the Highlands, like that places.
Yes, I believe we did the Arvest Bank
There's two
in the
Harps.
Highlands.
So that's three.
Yeah.
One in the Highlands, one in Town Center, and one in Sugar Creek, so that's already three. The Bank of the Ozarks, there's one in, Sugar Creek, and there's one in the Highlands.
Okay,
Yeah, so there's a lot of places that.
yes, there is.
The more we can get, the more it's out there.
That's right. So do we want to decide all the locations tonight? Do we want to think about it?
I think at this point, and this is just my opinion, I think we should probably reach out to make
Oh,
sure.
right. Yes.
And if you wanted to, like this week or next week or something like that before the next meeting, reach out to one of the banks or to wherever you may go and see if they would be accepting of having a donation box.
Oh, yeah.
And then at that point, we can come back and we can discuss it, and then we'll
Yeah.
know a little bit
Right.
more of
Yeah.
what we need.
Okay.
But all the POA buildings would be a go. That's a yes.
Well, if we have like a letter or something that we say that this is our project, for the community involvement committee, that we have this code drive. I mean, we can't assume everybody knows.
Right.
I always think like, don't assume
Yep.
people know what you're thinking and what you're doing. And then we have this letter, we take it to the banks and say, whoever is the person that does this kind of stuff, that this is what we're doing, and if you're okay, we'll bring the box, but we have to know when we're gonna bring the box already, so they know,
Yeah.
and who's gonna collect it,
So
and
what
to
we'll
make
do
sure.
is, Tammy she'll work with marketing to put together the flyer, and we can use the flyer as the
Yeah.
letter.
And what we're
And
doing
the flyer
with
will
it.
have all the information then that way, and we can just have all the POA outlets listed, and then all you have to do is show them the letter and say, look, we'd like to add you
Yeah.
to this list.
Yeah.
That'd be
And I think
awesome.
that for
Almost
them,
like a
there's also an
sponsorship type
advertisement.
Yeah.
thing. It's just- they'll get some advertisement
Yeah.
out of it as well.
Yeah, or even doctors' offices, where people go,
Yeah.
because sometimes people don't read. That's one thing. I'm like, even if you have an email, I'm like, they don't go, and then sometimes those emails are already, you have 100 emails. If you miss that email, you don't see it. But
Correct.
the more we communicate to the people,
Yeah.
some by word of mouth, or even in the area where you live, like in my court, I'll tell people, if you have any extra, I'll collect them.
Yeah, the word of mouth was a lot. It helped last year. I had random residents message me on Facebook wanting to drop off their coats because they knew that I was involved with it. So I thought that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we can put it in the city hall. I'm like,
yeah,
you know, we're in the city now.
right.
We need to involve them too. You know,
Yes.
so just-
And it's another opportunity also to get the community involved, volunteering to pick up those coats from those locations and taking them to the drop-off spot, because it doesn't have to be just us. Because in the past 2 years, it just has been the committee members and some POA staff.
Even churches. you know.
Yes.
If they don't have a program, then we can kind of say that we're doing this too.
Yeah. I encourage everybody to get the word out about it. So, good thoughts. Thank you. Anything else that we need to discuss about the coat drive this year at this time? Okay. Mary, I think I saw you wanted to talk earlier. Did you have a comment about it? Okay. I wanted to be sure. Okay. So if not, we'll go into open discussion of the committee. Anybody have any comments, concerns?
Might want to think about taking a look at the mission statement
Okay.
that's on the POA website,
Yeah, so the,
making that a little more specific.
okay. I remembered that being brought up. I'm not sure if it was the first month I was the chair or the month before. But that would have been January or February. And it just hasn't been brought up since. So I do agree, Mary. We could get that on the agenda for next month, because the coat drive discussion will most likely do that. But I don't see it being too long of a discussion. So we could also discuss the mission statement. Because I know there was at one time that we were waiting on the POA to have a new mission statement, but I forgot where that went. But I personally don't think we'd have to wait on the POA as a whole to have a new mission statement.
And just a question, where does our committee intersect with marketing of the POA? You know, I'm just, again, thinking out loud
Mhm.
about making activities more visible in a variety of, maybe media. I don't even know if the coat drive we could put on TV, for example.
Mhm.
But, or, do we use the marketing person?
Yeah, I mean, they'll develop the flyers and the email blasts, and we can have Kim, we can invite her to next month's meeting if you'd like.
That'd be great. I'd really like to talk about how to maybe step that up a little bit.
Yeah, Kim was going to give us a presentation of her marketing plan, I think it was called, for the year 2019. I believe it was in February, but we didn't have enough committee members at the time, and she didn't do that presentation for us.
Do you guys, John, Tia, do you guys advertise your trail of fairs or whatever?
Yes, a lot.
Good, good. And how do you do that?
All social media, and we have had the news out for the past 2 years.
Yes.
So we do special spots about it.
Fantastic.
Like a lot of spots.
Bell is the newspaper.
Yeah,
North of
I think,
Arkansas gets
I
the
think
newspaper.
that activity, what you guys do might be a good kind of game plan for us to incorporate maybe in some of what this committee does. I mean, I'm just blown away at how well thought out you all have that, and it's kind of fun. It's fascinating.
Is
I
that-
appreciate that you think it's well thought out, but it's just chaos.
Well, it may feel like chaos, but still.
There's no organization. It's just
Anyway,
chaos.
I'm just, just looking for ways to
Right.
not just make the committee more visible, but also, maybe to hear from the community what some things they might be interested in us doing.
Yeah.
And I don't know how we access that or access them to do that. Get those questions out. But you guys are fabulous.
Yeah, I think what you said about looking at the mission statement, I just read it, and honestly, sadly, the first time I've seen it on the website. I think you all should go read it. It's very different than what's actually being done on the committee.
Okay,
Going on.
Maybe it'll foster new ideas.
good idea.
And I agree, Tia. And I think these two ladies will help us a lot to accomplish that because of new ideas. And, the reason why it hasn't come up in the past 4 or 5 months is because we had a lot of committee members drop, of course, and it was a struggle to get members until now. So we're working on it, and I will get that put on the agenda for next month. Mary, did you have a comment, Maria?
No, I was just
Okay.
gonna ask about this Trail of Fears. I'm not
Oh.
familiar with it. Is it a
Oh,
activity?
That has nothing to do with this. It's something we need to do personally.
Oh, it's
Oh,
a-
no,
oh,
this
it's
is,
a
this is
pri-
our
okay.
personal.
Oh, I see, okay.
Um,
Well, I was just wondering as far as like community involvement, when you say community involvement, I'm like, the community is getting bigger.
Yeah.
Of course, you ask for, people to volunteer, but, there's certain parts of the community, there's like businesses, and, I mean, it's composed of different businesses in the area.
Mhm.
I'm like, is it something that we could consider maybe inviting a member of the business community to be part? Or is that different? I'm just asking a question because you cannot function when you don't have enough people. And if
Right.
you wanna do a lot of activities with the community, we need people to get involved.
Mhm.
But, okay, so let's look at how is the community made of right now. We have residents, we're BOA members. I don't know, people who, I mean, it's not just residents, but how can we go and get other people to be involved? Because I'm like, when you say you have to have about 7 people, and,
That's the number we would like to have.
uh-huh.
Mhm.
But like, as I said, like, it's only me and Janet. And you put it out there, so, and the population is growing.
You're right.
We can say that there's not enough people out there who want to get involved in the community. There's so many organizations.
Yeah.
I myself have been involved now in 4 organizations because I want to get involved. But there's other people who want to get involved but are not familiar with really what's happening or what's going on, and maybe we need to kind of look further out there and see what we can get to get more people, more ideas, more help.
The most
Yeah.
questions I had, I'm sorry, Janet.
I
go
was
ahead.
just going to say, looking multi-generationally at maybe getting, members that are maybe in their 30s.
Mhm.
People that are coming into the community and will be, I mean, look at all the construction that's happening. And how their engagement would be different from, let's say, the old geriatric set here. And I think the point, Maria's point's well taken.
Yes,
Mhm.
it sure is. And the question.
She included you in that, Mr.
I was thinking that
Oh, my God, goodness.
I know that when we had the tailgate and Fireflies, we had a few of the members approach Tia and I, and we're like, why can't we do this movie thing, like once every Friday? And of course,
Yeah.
the question is, would you be willing to host it? because we
Oh,
could
you
come
mean
up.
That committee?
Yeah, I mean, like, I'll give you the projector screen, and I'll give you the, you know, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
but they were like, no. It's like, oh, well, no, we just want somebody else to do it. I'm like, okay, well, that'll be fine, but we need, like you said, we need more people that would, you know, do like a First Friday in Bentonville. Do a First Friday film in Blowing Springs
Yeah.
and blow that up or
Yeah,
something, you know, just
Well,
neat
that's what I'm
ideas
saying.
like that.
If you have, it takes a while, I guess, like some people, and they say some of the younger generations, they want to do things, but they don't want to get involved. You know, I've been there, you know, I've seen.
Oh, so you knew
But-
who I was talking about?
Huh?
You knew who we were talking to?
So, but the thing is like, we, if we have other ways to kind of let them know that, you know, we want to do more things, but we need help, you know, we need people to volunteer and you know, but we approach different areas in the city, they live here, you know, and
Right.
I said, there's people who want to volunteer. In fact, when I was preparing to retire, and I said, okay, I want a list of all the places where I could volunteer, you know, is there a list, or is there a list of like things that's happening in Bella Vista, you know, and the more people know, you know, I'm like, yeah, you have the email, but when I'm saying that sometimes it's by word of mouth, or, you know, or one thing I learned, like if you involve activities with children, the families will, I mean, like they're there. And then sometimes some of them will start kind of, you know, getting interested in what we're
Right.
doing, you know. And then we'll get people to, hey, would you like to join our group? Like where we can do this stuff. Because if people get involved in church stuff or some other organizations, then, you know, maybe they will be interested in what we're doing.
Right. The one question I had from people interested in joining the committee is, you know, how much of a commitment it is to join the committee. And my answer was it's not too much of a commitment. It's one meeting a month. Usually I like to keep it an hour until
Yeah.
7 o'clock
Uh-huh.
because we all have, you know, families to go to, dinner to have. So I just let them know it's one meeting a month, and we can encourage other people to volunteer at our events. It doesn't have to be all of us. So to me, that's not a huge commitment.
Yeah.
And the committee made a good decision about 2 years ago. We were called the Young Residents Committee, and we changed that to community involvement. So I thought that was a great decision because residents, members thought that it was just for young residents. Some people define young differently. So they were hesitant to join the committee, and it's gone a lot better. But I still encourage the community to be involved, and we like some more applicants to this committee.
Well, when you have I noticed in the announcement, the meet and greet,
Mhm.
you know, all these new people coming to the area,
Yes.
and I'm new, I don't know what to do, I want to meet people. I mean, do we go to that meeting and talk about, hey, we have this committee, we want people to get involved, would you be interested? I mean, it's one way to kind of get them right there when they're still new in the area before they get involved in the other things.
Mhm. You can definitely come to a meeting. It is on August 10th at 9:30
I was kinda
here in the
thinking of
Vista
that.
Room. And the main people that do speak is Tom and the mayor, Peter Christie. Is there anybody else that usually talks? Tom? Deb Sorensen. She is part of the Recreation Committee. And then I believe Tom usually asks the board members to see if they have anything to say. And maybe some city council members come. I'm not sure. I haven't been to one in 6 months.
Well, I think that's one venue where
Yeah.
you can touch some new people moving to the area might get interested.
And just to casually just talk to them, maybe not in front of everybody,
Yeah.
but individually. Usually it is a good turnout. I know there was one that was canceled either in December or January. Usually it's held every 3 months, and one was canceled, so there might have not been one for 6 months. There was one, okay. So that's a very good idea. And I'm not sure what I'll be doing on August 10th, but I'll be happy to join you there.
I'll come.
Yeah,
Yeah, I will too.
that's a very good idea. That's very appreciated.
I mean, even the other committees, I don't know, I guess all the other committees are full, but I think our committees might need members or, volunteers, so.
Right.
We can be there and say,
Yeah.
like, we're in the community involvement committee and,
Yes, that's
this is
awesome.
what we do, and just talk about what you do, and maybe people would be interested.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. That does remind me, we do need a list of committee members who will speak in front of the board of directors at their regular meeting, the fourth Thursday of each month at 6 p.m. And what you do, you go and they have the committee reports before they get into the main agenda of the night. And you just report on of what we talked about in our committee the Thursday, or the first Thursday. So for example, Janet, if you wanted to do it, you would show up at 6 o'clock, and when Ruth calls the community involvement to come speak, you go up to the microphone and you just read the minutes, not everything, but just a good summary. So, for example, you would discuss that we talked about the goat drive, and then we nominated our chairperson, vice chairperson, and secretary.
Okay,
So, we don't have to decide that right now.
right.
But before the 22nd, 3 weeks from today. Any other comments? This has been a very good discussion. I appreciate it.
Would it behoove us to, like, get a poster board for the meet and greet or something like fix or event details so that it's blocking? So would it be a good idea to get a poster boards or a meet and greet with pictures? Kind of some event details, just so that even as people are walking through, without even having to say anything, it might be an eye catcher to
Yeah.
get there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love
Even-
that idea.
Yeah, even the Fireflies and Tailgating event, we gonna have, they had that nice kind of poster and stuff like that, or, a design that they had it, if they could just have that on the poster board, and then you can say, okay, this is what we do in our committee, and then later on, maybe expand to another event, But then people say, oh, there's something going on other than golf and, swimming and all this stuff.
Right.
There's, people are getting involved, and so.
Yes,
I know we're at the golden hour, but
it's okay. It's okay.
before I turn into salt here, do we go to, I don't know what you call them, things like Kiwanis and whatever other Rotary, yeah, thank you, those kind of places.
Tom might have been there a lot.
Okay.
I'm not sure about any other POA staff
I'm just
member.
thinking about us.
Okay. No, not in the past 2 years I've been on this committee. I don't believe so. Not as a POA committee member, no.
As we think about our mission statement, I think that something to keep in mind is in what ways do we engage the community and us, not just, Tom, you go for it. But I think we've got some good opportunities
Yeah.
to talk about, whether it's the coat drive or whether it's, we want to hear what you want. So.
I
okay.
agree.
I'm done.
You're fine, Janet. I appreciate that.
Keep in mind that those groups, the Rotary and the Kiwanis and whatever, are used to getting money for their volunteerism that they then use to support their own projects. but it'd be worth a try.
Yes, it would.
Oh, there may be others.
Well, there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Volunteers, groups.
And maybe as you look through your mission statement, the committee reforms into something that is here to help other volunteer groups like Rotary. Go ask them what they need, and you guys be the beacon of getting community involved and telling them about the other events, and maybe that's where this goes.
Fascinating idea.
Good thoughts.
Yes.
Does anybody else have any comments before we go this evening? All right, and the announcements, as Maria mentioned, the meet and greet on August 10th at 9:30 in the Vista Room. The Board of Directors meeting will be at 6 p.m. on August 22nd here in the boardroom. And our next community involvement meeting will be on September 5th at 6 p.m. And that is the Thursday of the week of Labor Day. And with that, can I get a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Motion.
Motion?
I
Got-
second.
Maria seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.